When Joe Rogan began whispering that hidden forces in Hollywood were quietly merging with political muscle to shield themselves, countless names surfaced, yet one shadow kept circling just below sight. Jay-Z. That's when Jay-Z's once trusted confidant DeHaven steps forward. DeHaven explains what most never grasp is that Jay-Z didn't simply climb through music or commerce. He endured because he mastered navigating opposite currents of authority very early. By his account, Jay-Z's inner orbit held figures who weren't only managers or attorneys, but silencers. People who understood the federal machine completely. One of those figures, he insists, is Desiree Perez. And it appears Jay may be leveraging Desiree to guard none other than Diddy as rumors intensify behind closed doors tonight worldwide quiet.
Keep in mind, the chick had a plan too. Like, yo, we could do things. And I can guarantee you the conversation with Emery, even when Emery came home and seen, he came home and seen the same thing. Yo, you dealing with her?
Who's the chick?
Desiree.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay.
He came home and had to see it too. Say, yo, what is this? And I can tell you how that conversation probably went. Like, look, man, you don't need to worry about this. You don't need to worry about nothing else ever again. You over here with us now. But what if, yo, she a snitch? Man, that snitch shit, bro. Them people that's talking about that snitch shit, we ain't gonna be breathing in the same ear. Them, that's what you worried about? Them that don't have nothing sitting home? Where you gonna be if you don't get on this side of town, get on this side? I can see that conversation happen.
According to DeHaven, this is exactly how Jay-Z operated once the pressure around him started turning dangerous. He didn't protest. He didn't resist authority. He moved with it. That's where the political layer emerges. DeHaven argues Jay-Z realized early that real protection doesn't come from fans or fortune. It comes from access to those who steer investigations, shape narratives, and decide endings. And once those bonds are formed, ideology becomes irrelevant. Left or right, MAGA or Democrat, none of it matters. Power doesn't take sides. Power protects its own.
This is what I'm saying, telling you. This is what will drive you insane. Trying to figure out what.
Right.
Is it just this?
Right.
Cause this is all I know. Cause if it ain't that, is that? Is it the snitch? Is it your informant friend? Did they come to you? Did they get you? When did they get you?
Right.
Is that what you hiding? Is that what it is? Because this don't make.
What cut DeHaven the deepest was what followed after he battled his own case and walked away victorious. He returned expecting, at the very least, a dialogue. What he got instead was total erasure. Jay-Z shut the door entirely. No reasons, no brotherhood, just a cold void. To DeHaven, that absence spoke louder than words ever could. He's convinced Jay-Z couldn't risk a single exchange, couldn't tolerate unresolved threats. When you're operating in a world tied to federal access and political shielding, even lifelong allies start to look like threats. So when people wonder why Jay-Z always seems untouchable while those in his orbit fall apart, DeHaven's response is blunt. Jay-Z isn't running from the system, he's embedded within it. Dame Dash echoes that belief, saying that same pattern is what finally shattered their bond beyond repair. He points to one moment he could never forgive. One choice that revealed everything he needed to understand about Jay-Z's compass. Jay agreed to collaborate on a major project with R. Kelly. Despite the serious allegations surrounding Aaliyah already being widely known at the time.
Yeah, when Jay did a project with R. Kelly, knowing that he had Aaliyah. How much more of that? You know what I'm saying? What would you need? So your supposed best friend, partner, does a project with someone that he knows your partner's girl when she was a child, and you still say, I had nothing to do with me, I'm gonna still get money with him. You know, that one was a wake-up call for real, for sure. And I don't think anyone that's human, if anyone could look the other way from that, they're a sucker. And a man should stop calling themselves a man if they can hang out with a dude that will work with someone the person they love. And yeah, I was told by Aaliyah, do not ruffle no feathers, because it's gonna bring more awareness to it, and she wanted to move on. So she said, yo, you could be around, but I wouldn't be around the projects, but that record they did together, you know, you could be in the video, actually be in the video, because I wasn't gonna go. she told me to go be in the video. She said, just don't be in no scenes or take no pictures with him. And I did that. I respected that.
Man, that must have been really, really hard for you. I can't even imagine how tough something like that would be.
Well, you know, it wasn't like I was crying about it, and it just made me look at someone that a different way. And I knew that there wasn't too much more of a future moving forward. You know, I just realized that again, our moral fabric was different.
What stunned Dame the most was how long the silence lasted. He says it's like morality only wakes up once handcuffs appear or headlines explode. Before that moment, nobody speaks. They keep attending. They keep shaking hands. They keep making deals right up until staying involved becomes bad for the image.
And after 30, it's like almost like the devil comes and says, I'm gonna give you 30 years to do what you want, but then it turns out bad. So I was surprised it took so long for something to happen, just based on what I was hearing. I was surprised it took so long for people. Like, it was crazy to me that the only time people say they're not f***ing with somebody is when they get busted. But if they know it, they still f***ing with them. They just don't f*** with them when it's not in style anymore. So that was more my thing. I was like, y'all know what this, you know, when people were still f***ing with it. And I was just like, you know, I felt sorry for humans overall, because it was like, where's the humanity? You know, where's the like personal respect for yourself or morals? Like, you just do what everybody does. And it's still like that. So like, again, you know, with most of the people that are jammed up right now, people knew it. They just didn't say nothing until everybody else did. See, that's where I get somewhat ostracized, because I say things and call people out before it's fashionable. I call it out as soon as I see it. So you gotta remember, pause, I was beefing with the Weinstein. And damn near everybody else that I don't quit, it turns out that there was a reason for it that was justified. It's just everybody else was scared to say something.
Man, that's crazy, man.
You know, when you're a futuristic thinker, you can see good things that are gonna happen, and you can see bad things that are gonna happen. It's just using logic. 1 + 1 = 2. You know, illegal stuff for a certain amount of time equals at some point you're gonna get jammed up. You know, it's just, sometimes it bugs me out how long it be taking. But there's a lot of things that are going on in this world today that I'm like, I can't believe it hasn't, you know, when are these motherfuckers gonna get their skirt pulled, you know what I mean? Like, when are people gonna be able to see the real logic behind the evil that everyone worships? Is unconsciously worshiping someone that's evil devil worship? I think it is, whether you're conscious of it or not. The devil's never gonna tell you they're the devil. They're gonna come and make you think they're God, and then you're gonna worship them. That's why I'm really particular about the way I move on holidays, because I don't know really what the f***ing...
For Dame, every piece of this traces back to how he grew up. Harlem drilled into him that your matters more than what you earn. That selling your values just to stay plugged in is a losing game. And that walking away at the right moment can be just as powerful as any victory. That's why he chose to separate from Jay-Z. Some believe Jay-Z may now be positioning himself in front of Diddy because he can feel how close the glare is getting. Not only on Diddy, but on everyone tied to him. And according to Jaguar Wright, that anxiety isn't imagined. She says Jay-Z already knows how the story ends because he's lived inside the same system. Jaguar insists her insight comes from first-hand exposure. In the early 2000s, she worked closely around Jay-Z's circle as a backup singer. What she witnessed backstage, she says, clashed completely with the polished public persona. And in her view, the real difference between Jay-Z and Diddy was never morality. It was time.
Sean Carter is just as bad as the diddler. And I know that for a fact. I got the scars to prove it.
So there's been so many people on the internet trying to figure out where you are. They're watching you. They're doing all types of stuff trying to figure you out.
You want to know what a box cutter feels like going into your skin and ripping you? I can tell you how it feels. Y'all ain't seen yet. That Cassie, that's nothing.
So are you trying to say like Jay-Z put hands on you?
I'm saying Sean Carter remembers everything he did to me and he's got it on tape. Just like Diddy. And it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be the women that give him in the end.
So you say that that
Jay-Z! And I think it's time for him to start speaking up about his very...
She believes Jay-Z is carefully managing how near his name drifts toward the explosion. Not out of allegiance, but because distance becomes survival when the pressure tightens. From there, Jaguar pulls the lens back even further. She starts questioning how certain artists, including Rihanna, were found, guided, and pushed through the industry at such young ages, often without the protections most families would ever...
What would it take for Jay-Z to go down like Diddy did?
I don't know. But I got an idea that Evan Rogers is gonna help me figure that out.
And who is Evan?
Evan was the producer who only seemed to work on teeny bopper projects, who discovered Rihanna at 3 a.m. in the morning in a hotel room on the island where she comes from, with no parental supervision. And then she was put on a private plane, a minor, from one country to another, without parental supervision. And she ended up in a boardroom with Mr. Carter, without parental supervision. Y'all got young children. Would you just let your daughter leave and go to a whole other country with some money you don't know?
Absolutely not.
Doing talent shows at 3 a.m.
So you're saying that the rumors are true. There are rumors circulating that Rihanna was actually tracked here. Are you saying that
Starting to sound that way, don't it? Because her daddy ain't show up till 24 hours later to pick up a $500,000 check for his daughter.
When it comes to why Jay-Z would move now, Jaguar says the answer is survival. She believes Jay-Z has always prioritized guarding the brand over facing the wreckage. And when someone in your circle is about to collapse, you face a brutal choice: fall with them or pull away before the impact hits.
why Jay-Z is doing this to Diddy now? Is it to keep his name out there?
Crab. He can't stand being himself, not for 1 minute. That's why he likes assuming other people's lives. He wears them until he outgrows them, and then he finds another persona. He crawls into that. I wish somebody would just take him back to Marcy for a visit and drop him off. That would be an interesting homecoming and homegoing. He's the shame.
In her view, Jay-Z isn't standing beside Diddy out of brotherhood. He's shielding the structure they both rose through. Because when one pillar gives way, the spotlight doesn't stop there. It starts scanning everything still standing. But what truly stunned people was Jaguar Wright's interpretation of it all. According to her, Diddy isn't the master controller everyone believes he is. She suggests he may be a piece on the board, someone maneuvered by forces with far greater reach and far darker intentions. She described how those who spent time around him often mentioned the same unsettling presence. They'd enter his home, and instead of a normal greeting, he'd say, "How does it feel? You made it." As if simply being near him was an achievement you were meant to appreciate. And then there was how he talked about himself. Jaguar notes that he didn't just see himself as accomplished. He spoke like he existed on an entirely different plane.
Like just being around him. But then again, when you listen to some of the way that he was referring to himself, like talking about he can only compare himself to the Son of God and oh, you know, it's been so long. I forgot how to get to my tone and I've been rapping so long and listening to myself that I forgot how to be myself. And it's like watching, you know, I don't want y'all sitting here looking like watching Jesus walk on water, learning how to walk on water. Like,
yeah, no. Even the fact that he told everyone, y'all are rock stars, y'all are hot. I'm the level of hot. So he's saying, don't ever think you're bigger than me when I'm in the room. I'm like, just that thought process is.
no, just not even that. He was like, y'all hot and I'm lukewarm. Y'all not gonna, don't think I'm gonna sit here and let y'all be hot while I'm lukewarm. That's what he said. So basically what he was saying was, is y'all not doing enough to turn me up. Don't think that I'm gonna let y'all look good and y'all don't work harder at making me look good. But he's referring to himself as God, as the Son of God. Like, I don't know what people want to believe. I don't know why people want to believe what they believe. It's wild to me. It's just kind of crazy to me. I mean, they did what they needed to do in this documentary. The whole objective of this documentary was to blame it all on Diddy. The devil made me do it. Blame it all on Diddy. And the rest of the industry is nothing like this. Like when Curtis Jackson sat there in his interview with Robin and sat there and said, you know, I did this because I don't want people thinking that the hip hop community is okay with this kind of behavior. You know, I don't want them thinking that, you know, we're just going to be silent while all of this is going on. Like, we're okay with this kind of behavior. And my thing is huh?
That's where her anger finally boils over. If this conduct was truly unforgivable, she asks, why did so many insiders live with it for years? Why did outrage only surface once cameras arrived and legal papers hit the table? Then Jaguar points to something most people completely ignored, the symbols. She noticed the recurring pyramids, the identical hand gestures, the same visuals resurfacing again and again within elite music circles. What unsettled her most was seeing those same symbols appear not only on artists, but even on individuals reporting the story outside the courthouse. For her, that's the moment the wider pattern begins to reveal itself.
You want to know the one thing that I'm finding also very interesting that nobody's paying attention to? The presence of that pyramid. You know, that the same thing that the Rock Nation likes to put up, the same hand symbol that you know, the sororities and the fraternities like to use. I'm not going to emulate it because you know exactly what it looks like. The pyramid sign that Diddy was wearing that around his neck. You wanna know what I found funny? That there were a bunch of YouTubers that were at that courthouse that were wearing that same, it was a much smaller version, but that same symbol.
Yeah.
I think, and that's the part of this story that makes it possible for people, I think, to graze over the reality of all that's going on. You know, if you just look at it from the salacious celebrity stuff, from pop culture media, so-called this new media, and I'm really not liking that term, this new media, because what it really sounds like is the name of a gang. Like the media is media. Because I'm looking at the people that are falling under it, and they're all the same people that are involved with, you know, creating these propaganda campaigns. You know, but that's exactly what Diddy was saying at the beginning of the documentary. We need somebody that is proficient, you know, or fluent in being able to spin propaganda and narratives. We need social media. I guess that new media, is that what that is? Like it's if you only look at it from the face value aspect of it, that's one thing. But if you look to the spiritual side of it, it's completely different. It unveils a much deeper agenda.
And this is where an even heavier question begins to linger. What if those recordings were never accidental snapshots at all? What if they were stored with intention, saved as insurance? According to insiders, that's exactly what happened. Gene Deal says the silence from the most powerful names in America is more revealing than any press release. These aren't nobodies. These are stars, executives, public figures, people with fortunes, brands, and legacies on the line. And according to Gene, that's precisely why no one is speaking.
All about the money. They saw what he did to Cassie. With the kicking, the punching. They saw what they did to Cassie. They know did nobody in America like that. So now, these people are represented by a brand. Whether it's something about the music, clothing, movies. They're not gonna come out and speak on nothing that has anything to do with them. And they praying that they not on the tape doing crazy stuff, being oiled up in the whole 9 yards. They praying. So until the feds say, hey, yo, listen here. We got you on, hey, buddy, we got you on this tape, and girl looked like she was pretty young. We're not gonna show it, but we need you to come and testify against Brother Love, P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, Sean Combs. That's when they're gonna start talking. And they're not gonna be talking in his favor. When the feds come to them and show them what they got on tape, because if he had 250 tapes 250 cameras all over the house, somebody got caught stealing a cookie out the cookie jar. It could be your favorite pastor. It could be your favorite politician.
That, Gene explains, is how real leverage is created. He notes that even individuals who once seemed inseparable from Diddy have gone completely silent. Not because they're uninformed, but because they're fully aware of just how much they know.
When you don't know somebody's taping you, when you don't know that somebody is videoing you in some kind of form of fashion, you got that alcohol, you got the drugs in you, they're a little loose, bruh. They let down all their inhibitions. The music is pumping. He said it himself. He got it so hot in there that you gotta take your clothes off. He said that himself, bruh. So a lot of them, what he said? I think a lot of them was being swallowed. Have you ever been swallowed? They tell off on themselves all the time, man. You just gotta listen.
But why do you think Diddy had all them hidden cameras?
Bruh, when you that powerful, you didn't get that powerful without having 1 or 2 or maybe 3 ups on somebody. Diddy always been the type of individual that wanted to have ups on the next person no matter what they was doing. Like, he always played artists against each other. He did it to Big, he did it to Craig Mack. You understand? I said before, he did the stuff to Ja Rule, you know what I'm saying? So had the ups on Ja Rule so he could go after Jay-Z. You understand what I'm saying? So he always played those kind of up games on people. So to have those cameras and know what he was doing, it's gonna give him the ups on everybody.
And in the final analysis, Gene says everything circles back to one unavoidable truth. Those recordings, whatever they hold, are the real danger. They don't expose just one narrative. They link multiple people to a single location, a single network, and a single mechanism of control. Gene Deal then introduces another disturbing detail. These events weren't always allegedly hosted by Diddy himself. Some were said to be arranged by people within his inner circle, including family members, and they sometimes lasted for extended stretches. That distinction matters because it widens accountability and dramatically increases the number of people who could be implicated.
Did the Federal Bureau of Investigation in Miami do it? No, they didn't. Did California do it? No, they did not. The Southern District of New York, they took it upon themselves and put on that raid and everything based on the information they found in Cassie lawsuit and the information they found in Little Rod lawsuit. But all this is bigger than Diddy. It's bigger than Diddy, bro. Cause you know who else they was doing investigation on during that whole time period? It was the mayor and the politicians in New York City. They turned around and give him the key to the city. All the mayor people that he brought on here in New York City are all resigning. They all resigning. People ain't gonna tie this together, but if you look at it, you have to say, because of Mayor Adams and his relationship with Diddy, it brought on the Southern District of New York to start investigating Diddy on civil lawsuits that was put against him. Because the feds is going after all these politicians in New York City.
So the question now hangs heavy. If those recordings ever surface, who else do you think goes down with them? Drop your thoughts in the comments below.